confetti's falling, you'll be there calling through thick and thin. Shoreline wishes, ambition disses, we're not caving in. Oh.
Hey, you're listening to Smart as a Cookie, the podcast, presented by USA Girl Scouts Overseas in partnership with me, Kristina Lachaga. Thank you so much for joining us for episode 5 of season 2. Oh my gosh, I cannot wait. Honestly, I can't wait about any episode. Every episode we share, we are so excited to introduce you to our special guest. So for this episode, our special guest is really cool. Her name is Gabi Robledo, and she is, get this, ready? Okay. Full-time traveler, surfer, climber, adventurer, mindset coach, and entrepreneur. She's awesome. I absolutely love talking with Gabi, and I cannot wait to share this interview with you. So, okay, when Gabi was 14, so I think Gabi's 20 now. When we talked to her, she was 19. So when Gabi was 14, her life totally changed when her parents made the bold decision to sell everything they owned in their house, ditch conformity, and move into an RV. Oh my gosh, to go travel the world, not just move into an RV. No. Move into RV to travel the world. Okay. Gabi went from playing soccer and being a gymnast while living a normal suburban life in California to taking on the world in an RV with her entire family. Talk about close quarters, and following adventure and their soul's purposes wherever it took them. They were in search of rocks to climb, waves to surf, and peaks to hike. These adventures have brought Gabi and her family to 26 countries around the world in over 15 states. I think that has definitely gone up since I last spoke with her. And it even helped Gabi debut as a TEDx speaker. So you can actually check out her TEDx talk. It's live on YouTube. It's called Becoming a Warrior, How to Find Purpose and Personal Power. So Gabi's so cool. She's living this, honestly, go check out her Instagram. It's at Gabi, Gabi Robledo, Robledo. Yeah, that's right. Checking my spelling in my head. And then an underscore at the end. Yeah, and she's I think she's in the middle of a snowboard adventure right now. I think she went to 16 different resorts or something. It's crazy. I don't surf. I don't snowboard. I think based off all these interviews, I'm getting the vibe that I need to go try some adventure sports. That's the vibe I'm getting. Well, especially for season 2, because season 2 was all about adventurous women. Because our theme was climb with courage. So much adventure going on. And Gabi is going to be talking courage, starting businesses, and being the hero of your story. So we are going to get into this interview right now. Gabi is smart as a cookie, and you are too. Go check out this interview. I'm owning the rhyme game at this point. Here we go.
Hey Girl Scouts, we are back with another special guest interview. It's Kristina Lachaga, the girl with the big pink heart, and I am joined with our special guest, Gabi Robledo. She is an amazing coach, athlete, and entrepreneur, and I am so excited because she's going to literally help us climb with courage this cookie season. She's so inspiring, and I'm so excited to introduce you to her. So hi Gabi, how are you?
Great, how are you doing?
Good. I am so excited to speak with you. Tell us where you are right now because you have a special story about all the different places you go.
So right now I am in northern Montana here snowboarding, but I have grown up traveling all over the world. So when I was 14 years old, my family decided to move into an RV so we could travel the world full time. And since then, we've been to 26 countries and 13 different states, actually probably more than that now. But I was raised with a super unconventional lifestyle, being schooled on the road, becoming an entrepreneur at a young age, but just traveling the world in search of rocks to climb and waves to surf and trails to hike and mountain bike and places to ski. And so my life has been a big old adventure since the time we moved into an RV.
Oh my gosh, that is incredible. You literally live such an adventurous lifestyle. I am so honestly so excited to meet you. I'm wow, I'll have to see where your journey takes you on Instagram. I follow you, so I'm oh, this is so cool. So you climb, you surf, you mountain bike, and you live in an RV with your entire family. So how do you all get along, and how does that work?
Yeah, I mean, so a big part of it is you really get so close to each other, like close to each other literally, but emotionally you get to know what people's strengths and weaknesses are. You learn to respect each other for what each person needs in their life and in their space. Some people want to go on the biggest adventures when we go hike and mountain bike and all that, and some people would rather just stay home. And we all just get used to respecting each other for our differences, but also boosting each other up for our strengths, because all of us have something very unique to bring to our family. And that is something that makes our connection as a family really close, but also it makes us more collaborative in the way we live in a small, tiny space.
Oh, that's amazing. That's perfect, because Girl Scouts are going to be working together, working and embracing teamwork. So that's great advice for girls. So learning to embrace the differences and boost each other up with what makes you amazing. I love it. That's so cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so it seems like you really live your life off script. I love it. So has your life always been like that? And like, how did you find the courage to blaze your own path? Especially in a society where there's a lot of a lot of expectations that are set, especially for girls, about like what we should and shouldn't do. So how do you find the courage to do all that?
Yeah, so I definitely didn't always live this unconventional life, because I grew up in a very classical suburban life for a very long time. And I was always an avid athlete, but I was always driven by the external pressure of competition. So I grew up a gymnast and a soccer player before I was all of that. And I was super, super competitive in those sports, but I was always driven by what is the external expectation of me. And so I was always driven by achievement, because you get the award, you get the medal, and then you get validation for doing well. Well, when we moved into an RV, it really became all about learning to question things. So even though I wasn't always living in an RV, I was always brought up to question things. And so moving into an RV provided this kind of silent space, this place for mindfulness to just naturally happen. And I started to notice how, oh, I was in that mode, because when we moved into an RV, I quit those sports, and it was like this, wow, that wasn't making me happy. So I realized that the extrinsic pressure, all those external expectations, weren't making me happy. And that was mind blowing for me, because then I started saying, well, what does make me happy? And so what I realized over 7 years now is that what really makes us happy is when we have an intrinsic value system. So an intrinsic value system, to put it simply, is anything that we can bring out into the world with our own free will to make us happy. So for example, if I was living my life from the external expectation of achievement or accomplishment, well, instead, I'm never going to have full control over how well I can do compared to other people. But I can tell myself that I have the value, that I want to do the best I can. I want to live in my full potential, and I want to bring as much strength and grace as I can to this moment. So choosing words, bringing your values back inside you, of things that I really want to be a courageous person. And as long as I'm a courageous person, then you stop looking outside to what your expectations are of you. I think that's really important for kids these days, especially for girls, because we are so used to, I have to make this person happy. And it's great, especially, your close family and your loved ones, you want to make them happy, and but you also have to make sure you're doing it from the right space. If you want to be a kind person, that is a great value, but you shouldn't be doing it just to make someone else happy. So this could really, I talk about this so much, and it could go in detail, but it really, in the end, it comes down to what do you really want to be? Who do you really want to become? And coming from a place of, what can I do? Not what do other people want me to do?
I love it, because I checked out your social media, and I loved how you were talking about, even with success, like bringing it into yourself and saying, I already am successful, and then you come from such a more like grounded place. I love it. That's great.
Yeah.
So in case your life wasn't already like adventurous enough, you founded 2 businesses at such a young age. So what was it like starting those businesses? What inspired you?
Yeah, so I started my first business when I was 15 years old, and I was one of the trips. So we had been living in an RV for 2 years now, and we had bought one-way tickets. My whole family of 7 bought one-way tickets to Europe, and we rented an RV, and we traveled in an RV that was even smaller than our first RV through Europe. And we were on that trip, and at that point, I had already finished all of my official homeschool. I just did all of my high school work, and in 1 year before, so that I could not have to do school when I was on the trip. And so that was just unschooling. And in that space of unschooling, and we were going on all these adventures, and I was experiencing all this mindfulness of daydreams, sort of. I was like, why don't we just start a travel blog? So my mom and I came together and said, we have all this travel experience. Maybe we should just start a travel blog. So I was inspired by my passion, and I had all this space in my life to create a new goal. And naturally, I was just drawn towards making I call it a greater expression of myself, because the passion is something I already had. Turning it into a business was just a natural next step. But really, the only reason I was capable of even making that step, or courageous enough to make that step, was because I came from a place of values before that. So I'd already learned my values, where I was saying, I want to act from a place of living in my fullest potential. And I want to come from a place of living authentically, because in the process of living in an RV, one of the biggest struggles along the way is dealing with the social rejection from peers. Because for a long time, or when I was earlier in my teen years, it was like, you living in an RV was the weird thing to do. And so there was definitely this battle, but it was a very important battle, because in the end, it taught me how to come from a place of values, where it's like, those people might think these things of me, but these people are actually supporting me in my dreams. And so then you start to believe in yourself, because in the end, when you are trying to start a business, you really have to just believe in yourself. So I guess any guidance that people can take from this is that nobody's going to believe in you as much as you want them to or need them to, but you can absolutely believe in yourself, and you should believe in yourself, because you have something amazing to offer. And so for me, that was looking at, I have this passion, so I might as well turn this into a purpose. And so over the years, I started that business. People totally thought I wasn't serious about it, that it was just a side hobby, but it turned into a business. And I recently started another business with my mom and my sister. This time we have a mindfulness business where we help people learn mindfulness in fun and simplified ways. And then I started my coaching business. So all of this came from that original place of wanting to be led by, well, what am I capable of if I fully believed in myself? And so here we are today.
Oh my gosh, Girl Scouts, we are definitely going to be fully believing in ourselves after listening to Gabi. She is so inspiring. And so what advice would you give girls that are going into cookie season right now? They're going to be embracing really big goals for themselves. And what are some ways that you can help them achieve those? What would you tell them?
Right. So definitely comes down to believing yourself to start with. And that requires a lot of love for yourself. So start that process of not looking to the external world for, what does this person believe I can do? What does this person believe? What do I believe I can do? Now, the second step of courage is really important. So I always tell people to take massive imperfect action. So massive imperfect action is just a fancy way of saying to be brave. So I talk about, if you were the hero of your story, what would you do? So the same thing applies here, where if you were a hero that you were watching in a story, in a movie or a book, what would that person do? How would they act? What would they become? What man would they be? Confident, or would they be scared and timid? So if you're trying to embrace a big goal, there's going to be a point, or if you're trying to accomplish a big goal, there's going to be a point where you have to do something outside your comfort zone, and it's going to seem very scary. Whether that's something to do with people, whether that's something that you have to do brave, whatever it is, you have to challenge that comfort zone, and you have to say, I can do this. And a lot of times we are so afraid of messing up or failing or people judging us that we don't want to take the action. But you take the massive imperfect action anyway, like the hero of your story.
Oh my gosh, Gabi's a Disney movie. Okay, so something tells me you weren't able to accomplish this all on your own, and you have a lot of family around you. So what has been your approach to teamwork and achieving goals as a group? Girls are selling with USA Girl Scouts overseas. They are working with their overseas committees. So how can we work together?
So like I started with us living in an RV, you pinpoint people's strengths and weaknesses. You respect their weaknesses, but boost each other up for your strengths. So one of the things starting businesses with my family members, like I have 2 businesses with my mom, and I have businesses with my sister, and I'm really close with all my family. We've always worked like a team around the house and living in an RV. It really comes down to being all of you and not trying to be everything. it's silly for you to try to use a skill that you're not naturally good at if someone right next to you is so amazing at that skill. And it's not that you're not capable of that skill. It's that you should be all of you. You already have some gifts inside you that are going to be best used if you just allow yourself to be all of it. But don't try to be something you're not, because someone right next to you might already have that gift, and you guys can work together to support each other and be each other's yin and yang. Like, this person has this skill, I have this skill. If we come together, we can create some amazing things.
Oh, wow. Okay, that's perfect. And okay, so it sounds like you've really identified your soul's purpose or your personal brand. And our Girl Scouts are going to be using digital cookie to sell their cookies. So they're going to have their own profiles that they on the internet that they can send to their family and friends in the States so they can buy their cookies. So they're going to be incorporating their own personal branding and making it personalized for themselves. So what advice would you give to girls to really embrace themselves and create that personal brand to show to their family and friends so they can tell everybody about their cookies this year?
So probably thinking about that hero of your story thing is really important. So if you look at yourself and think, well, if I were the hero of my story, what would I do and be? But more so, if you're going to try and take this and turn it into a personal brand or sell cookies, looking at what words you actually come up with when you look at yourself as a hero. So if you look at yourself as a hero, how would you describe yourself? Just pick 3 to 5 words, whatever it is, but how would you describe it if you were looking at that person from the outside world? You would want them to be, maybe strong, maybe daring, maybe graceful, whatever these words are. Try to think about what those words are, because those words are going to help you kind of come up with this theme of how you're trying to express yourself. Because when you're trying to express who you are on the internet, it's not an easy thing, because it's a 3-dimensional internet. So you have to have guiding points, like words can help you express how you want to portray yourself as a theme. And the last thing would be tell your story. Your story is the most valuable thing you have to offer. And like any hero, you have this amazing story. So look what you've had to overcome to be who you are today, and express that with the world, because people want to see your authentic truth.
Gosh, girls, write all that down and write your 3 to 5 words down so you can start embracing the hero of your story. Okay, so we love that you live such an adventurous life. So what has been your favorite adventure so far, and where is your next adventure taking you?
Man, there's been so many. I mean, it's so hard to pick a favorite. But I think, okay, so probably my favorites would be either driving to Alaska, surfing in West Bali, or climbing in Switzerland. When I was 16, my mom and I climbed a 1,000-foot rock face in Switzerland, and that was incredible. Coming up, my next adventures, well, in an hour or two, I'm leaving on a snowboarding road trip through Idaho. And then the biggest adventure I have this year, planned for this year, is to climb the Grand Teton. It is a very famous peak in the Rocky Mountain Range in Wyoming, and I'm very excited to climb that mountain.
That is so cool. You know what? When you were going to Alaska, you should have let us know, because my grandma, she was like 96 years old when she said that she wanted us to drive her to Alaska.
It's so amazing.
Oh my gosh, Mom, we'll have to do that. We'll have to go take that. That's incredible. So Gabi is going to be helping us embrace our confidence and embrace our courageous side, and she's going to help us with 5 affirmations to help us get ready to climb with courage this season. So Gabi, take it away.
All right, so here are your 5 affirmations. The first is, I am the hero of my story. Second is, I am already enough. Third, I am strong and graceful. Fourth, I am confident and capable. And last but not least, there's no mountain that I can't climb.
In Girl Scouts, there is no mountain that you can't climb. Okay, so where can all our amazing Girl Scouts that are living in 90 plus countries, probably some of the places you've been, where can they find you and follow you on social media and your website?
So my website is GabiRobledo.com. It's GabiRobledo, and it's on Instagram. You can find me at Gabi Robledo with a little underscore at the end, spelled the same way.
Awesome.
Okay, so this is just some of the gear, all of my clunky gear. This is some of the gear that I use to climb mountains and go on adventures. So for example, these fancy things right here, we plug these into cracks in rock faces and they expand so that if we fall on our rope, it catches us. So sometimes we put these into a wall, and if we fall while we're climbing, this thing catches us and keeps us safe. We have all these fancy gear items to keep us safe while climbing, plus more, so that we can go on adventures.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Gabi. And before you go, Girl Scouts, I know we can't hear you, but we're all going to yell "Climb with Courage" with Gabi, because she is honestly the definition of courage and literally mountain climbing. So here we go. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Climb with
Courage.
Thank you so much, Gabi. And girls, write down those affirmations so that you can go start saying them and you'll start believing in yourself even more than you already do. I love it. Thank you, Gabi.
Thank you.
Oh my gosh. Thank you, Gabi, so much for sharing so much amazing advice. I loved hearing about being the hero of your own story and learning your values and taking massive imperfect action. I think everyone could take a little bit of advice, especially from taking massive imperfect action. And I think she converted that to, was it being brave? I think it was about being brave. I think that's so amazing. And I think that taking massive imperfect action is something, honestly, sometimes you just have to take that giant step and just do whatever you got to do. So I love that. And plus, we got to hear some amazing affirmations from her, and we got to see her climbing gear. I mean, I'm just thinking to myself, does she have to have all that climbing gear on her as she's climbing up a mountain? Because imagine if you don't have all that and then you get to like a crack in a rock and you need that specific thing and you don't have it. Oh my gosh, that's like a crazy amount of weight that she has to carry. I'm sure there's some sort of metaphor there. So yeah, Gabi is so cool. And you can also check out, I was just looking at my notes from when we spoke to her. She actually began pursuing her dream of becoming an entrepreneur when she was 16, when she and her mom launched an adventure travel blog. So you can actually check that out. It's nomadswithapurpose.com. And now Gabi actually runs 3 different businesses, and she's been featured in HuffPost. So cool. And I love that she is living life off script. Like, I don't know how much more off script you can get than just like literally ditching everything that you knew and were a part of, and like literally selling your house, selling everything you had, and moving with your family into an RV, and just honestly, but like traveling everywhere with them. How cool. Like literally living life off script. I think I just am so inspired. Mom, we're gonna go get an RV. Let's like road trip. You know what? My grandma wanted to do a road trip to driving, okay, to Alaska. I think that's our next adventure. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe we're not too sold on that one. We'll have to find another one. If you're having a great adventure idea, let me know. Personally, I'm thinking an adventure to an island. So sign me up for that. Maybe we can get some tips. Maybe Gabi's been to some islands. So I want you all to make sure that you keep up with Gabi's adventures. You can check out her website. It's GabiRobledo.com, GabiRobledo.com. I've really found that nothing is better than a little spelling help when you are listening to a podcast. So I am your spelling guru for today. And I really hope that you enjoyed this interview. We have one more left of season 2. Oh my goodness. One more episode of season 2. So I will actually give a little spoiler for that episode, because you know what? I think it's a pretty exciting episode. She was actually our surprise special guest for our cookie rally in 2022 with USA Girl Scouts Overseas. And we are going to be sharing our interview that we did with Olympic silver medalist Jordan Childs. you may know her as one half of Biles and Childs, aka Simone Biles and Jordan Childs. So Jordan is a artistic gymnast. She represents the US, and she actually, I think she's a sophomore now at UCLA. So she's competing for UCLA right now. And also like wait till the next episode. Just wait till the next episode. I'm just gonna leave you hanging like that. Yeah, so we're gonna have an interview with Jordan Childs. So if you haven't already, make sure you follow and subscribe to our podcast wherever you listen. So whether you're watching on YouTube, make sure you hit that subscribe button, like, comment, all that good stuff. If you are, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music, wherever you're listening, make sure you follow and subscribe. If you have a chance to rate and review, give a little 5 stars. Hey, and just, make sure you share this podcast with anyone that you think would be inspired by it. We have so many amazing guests. We have one more season coming up for right now. Season 3, we'll have some amazing special guests coming up for that. Definitely stay tuned because we have so much more to share with Smart as a Cookie, the podcast. So thank you so much, Gabi Robledo, for being our episode 5, season 2 special guest. You were incredible. I love chatting with you. And I've been following you on Instagram and just keeping up with everything you're doing. So I think it's really cool. And I'm so proud of you and everything that you're accomplishing. So thank you so much. You're smart as a cookie. And we'll see you in the next episode. See ya. I hope Smart as a Cookie inspires you as you follow your heartstream. Let us know what your heartstream is and how you are following it and how our interviews have helped you to achieve your goals and achieve your dreams. And if you're a Girl Scout, how it helped you this cookie season. To learn more about USA Girl Scouts Overseas, visit usagso.org. USA Girl Scouts Overseas brings Girl Scouts to daughters of military, foreign service, and American expat families around the world and to girls in American or international schools. An operating unit of the Girl Scouts of the USA, USAGSO ensures that no matter where American families move, they will have access to the Girl Scout leadership experience. Follow USA Girl Scouts Overseas on Facebook and at GS Overseas on Instagram. You can also follow me, Kristina Lachaga, your host, on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, TikTok, Snapchat, pretty much wherever, at Kristina Lachaga. And I can't wait to hear about your favorite episode, your favorite guest, and your favorite moment from Smart as a Cookie. Hey, so here's our disclaimer here. So don't forget that our interviews were filmed for USA Girl Scouts Overseas Cookie Rally 2022. Our special guests have been up to a lot of things since then, so make sure you check out their social media, websites, and official channels for everything that our guests have been up to since then, their recent updates, all the amazing projects that they're working on, the products that they've been releasing, the competitions they've been competing in, whatever they're up to. Make sure you go and check out their social medias, support them, follow them, and see what they've been up to since. And if you liked the music that you heard during this episode, it's RSVP by me, Kristina Lachaga. So you can check it out on Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube, Google Play, wherever you check out your music and listen to your music. You can add it to your library and you can add it to your playlist. Thanks for listening. Thank you so much. And I'll see you for our next episode. Talk soon. And remember, you are smart as a cookie. No, go get a Girl Scout cookie. See ya.
I got your back, you've got mine for the rest of time. I got your back, you've got mine for the rest of